Hi guys, and welcome to DreamArtz. I am Dream, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. I am a 3D and VFX artist with experience on the Latin music industry, having worked with international artists like Bizarrap, Manuel AA, Arcangel, the one you're seeing is from Brian Myers, and a lot more artists. And I have experience on Blender and Houdini, and I would like to teach you guys my methods and my workflows so you can start making money doing what you really love. I have worked VFX for music videos. I have worked animated environments for concert visuals, like for Bizarrap, the one you saw a little bit ago. And I have also collabed with other talented 3D artists. So in this channel, it's going to be for those who want to learn about 3D and VFX using Blender and Houdini and some other 3D programs. And for those experienced ones that would like more exposure and knowledge on how the music industry works. So guys, I hope you like my channel. This is going to be the first video, so I hope you guys like it. You can subscribe, and I know we're going to be having a lot of fun. Right now you're seeing some 3D assets I have worked along the way, and it makes me proud. Right now I know I can achieve better and keep learning, but that's what we're going to do together. So that's what I'm hoping in this 3D channel, that you guys learn and keep doing better. As you can see, that's my old logo. So guys, I'm sorry for that.
Come on now, dog.
Alright guys, so we can continue. But before we jump into Blender, we are gonna be needing some programs, and in this case the add-on for the grass and the tree asset, and I will be giving you all of that. You can check that out on the description. The first thing you are going to be downloading is going to be Quixel Bridge, which is an excellent program of 3D assets, materials, surface imperfections. It's pretty cool. If you create an Epic account for free, you can download a lot of assets and materials for free. So that's pretty cool. The other program we are going to be using is Grasswald Pro. This program, guys, is pretty good. This is my secret for grass and flowers and all of that. It's pretty good. I will be giving you also the link on the description so you can download that, and we will be installing that on Blender later on. So the other program we are going to be using is PureRef, which this program is for references, and it's a very good program. You can set all your reference images on the same layout. It's pretty cool. And the 3D asset that we are going to be using, which is the tree that you see on the environment, you can download that on my website. You can check my website later. You can download tree backgrounds and their project files and everything. So once you download all of that, we are ready to jump into Blender. So let's go. So we are back here in Blender. Before we start, guys, let me make a quick note. As may you already noticed, I'm from Puerto Rico, so my English is not that good. So maybe you'll have a laugh on my pronunciations.
Talo. sorry.
So that'll be good. I don't have a problem with that, but now everything's set, let's go. So we first are going to be I assume that you have already installed Quixel Bridge, and that you already have Quixel Bridge linked with your Blender. It, like I mentioned, If you create an Epic account for free, you can download a lot of assets for free and surfaces and everything. So if you don't have it linked with your Blender, you go to manage plugins under edit, and then you download the Blender plugin, and it should connect you to the Blender. Okay, so now that you have Quixel Bridge, we're going to go to preferences, and we are going to install in this case Grasswalk Pro. So you'll go to Grasswalk Pro, the folder, and you're going to install the zip. Okay, another plugin we're gonna be using is Dynamic Sky. So you type dynamic and you are going to check on the Dynamic Sky. So I have a lot of other in this case add-ons enabled on my Blender, so don't worry if you see things that you won't see on your Blender. It's because I have another add-ons or plugins and and other things. So now that you are set up, we can start making our environment. So we're gonna start by deleting this cube. We can let that light on there for now. One thing I do first of all is jump on the camera. You can do that by pressing the camera toggle view button or pressing 0 on the numpad. Okay, so I'm going to get the view a little bit closer on the viewport, and then I'm going to go to view, camera to view, and I'm going to set my camera. I'm going to try to centralize this and bring my camera a little bit to the ground. If I press shift and the middle mouse button, I can move along sides, up and down, and all of that. Okay, so if we set up our camera right here, very centralized along the y-axis, which is this green line, the x-axis is this red line, and the z-axis is going to be up and down here in Blender. So now that we have our camera a little bit set, we can uncheck the camera to view. We are going to go outside, and then we are going to press shift A and bring a plane under mesh. You can see there's plane. Like I said, there are going to be a lot of things that you're going to see on my menus that you won't see on yours, but don't worry, it's because I have other things enabled that maybe you won't. So now that we have our plane in here, we can scale our plane by pressing S, selecting the plane, and pressing X and moving our mouse button, or you can press S and press a number on the numpad, let's say 5, and you'll scale that by 5. So now that we have our plane set, let's get this a little bit bigger, and let's set this a little bit closer to the camera. So if we jump on the camera, our camera is gonna be always on top of the plane. You can set this a little bit backward until we're right there, at the last part of the plane. So let's get out of our camera, and now that we have our plane selected, we can go to our tab view, to our edit view, by going here and go to edit view, or you can press tab and you'll go to the edit view. Okay, so now that we have this selected, we can press the right mouse button, and we can press on subdivide. Once we press on subdivide, we can go here, and let's say we want to subdivide this by 50. Okay, that's pretty good right there. So now we have our plane, and it's subdivided 50 times. So if we want to let's say create some mountains like in our reference, and that's why I told you guys to download the pure ref and get some reference always. So if we look our references, we have some grass and some mountains, little mountains, and one tree in all of them. So I already gave you the tree. It's going to be on my description, the link, so you can download the tree. You'll go to my website and you can download that for free. So now that we have something in our mind to create our environment, some ideas with references, let's start creating our little mountains. So if we press one vertex, we are still on edit mode, guys, so remember that. If you press or click, I'm sorry, one vertex and you press G to grab, and let's say you move up to create a little mountain, you'll see that it's going to grab just one vertex, and if you pull it up, it's going to look ugly. So if we go here on proportional editing,
Sorry.
I'm sorry for that, guys, editing, and we press the proportional editing, and we can set the smooth like that. We don't have to change it. And now if we press G and go up, you'll see it's going to bring the vertices that has on the vicinity. So if we increase this radius, the radius for the proportion, if we set it like bigger, you'll see it will bring more and more and more vertices. So now we have a little mountain here. So we have something there. Let's see if we can grab one like here and put it up a little bit. That looks good. And one over here, and this one I will make it more bigger. So there we go, something like that. So if we jump into the camera, you'll see now we have some mountains.
Good job.
Okay, so now if we press tab and go back to the object mode, and you're still on your camera, you'll see, and if you're not, you'll see there is like some edges, or something like some polygons marked on the mesh. All you have to do is click the right mouse button and then shade out to smooth. Alright, that will fix your problem. So now we can continue. Now we're gonna add some shaders to this plane, so we can have some shaders that maybe some dirt or some ground shader, so that the grass is going to be on top of that shader. Realistically, the grass is not on top of something gray or cement, or we'll have to put some forest ground shading in this surface so it looks good. So we go to our bridge. If we go to our bridge, and then you go here and press forest surface, you are going to have some surfaces. Now you can select the surface you liked. I downloaded this one, the Nordic forest ground. So I already have downloaded this one. Now I'm going to export to Blender. Now it says exported successfully. We can go to our Blender. Now if we go to our shading tab and we go to this drop down, now we're going to see our material is right here. So Nordic forest ground, we apply our material, and there it is. Alright, so you may be saying, oh my god, that looks bad, bro. Well, what's going on there? Look at that. It doesn't have even like displacement. It looks flat. Looks ugly. Alright guys. And that's because a couple of things. First of all, let's change our view to our shading view so we can see better. Now you'll see it looks, better, but nothing great still. So we'll have to add some displacement to this. So if we go here to our principled BSDF on the shading view, this shader didn't have the displacement map. So if we found that manually under our folders, we go to our mega scans, support, plugins, blender, plugin, download it, and surface, ground forest, you'll find your shader, and then bring the displacement map. Alright, once you bring the displacement map, you'll need to add a displacement vector. So here it is, and then you'll plug the color into height, and then you are going to have the material output a little bit down so we can connect the displacement under displacement. Alright, so now you'll see that we have a little bit of displacement, but wait, no, there's no displacement. And that's because we need to go to the settings of the material and then go to settings also, and here under displacement you are going to check under displacement and bump, and that's a little bit crazy displacement.
Ah, shit! Here you go again.
And that's because our scale is way too high. So if we set this to a scale of like 0.05, then we're supposed to have some displacement.
So
but
that was a f***ing lie.
In order for you to have a good displacement, you'll need to have a lot of subdivisions on the plane. So remember, if we go to tab, you'll see that we don't have a lot of subdivisions. So this little plane right here is going to be a subdivision, and since it has big planes, well, it's not going to give you a photorealistic quality. So in order to fix that at least a little bit, we can add a modifier and a subdivision modifier. And if we go to our render tab and then we go to the feature set and set it to experimental, we can go back to the modifiers and set the subdivision modifier to adaptive subdivision, and that's going to increase or subdivide a lot more the objects or the planes that are very near to the camera. If the object is very large and the far object that is the part of the object that is furthest from the camera is going to have a little subdivisions, and the part that is closer to the camera is going to be subdivided a lot. So now you can see we are having more subdivision, and we can see a lot more of the shader displacement. So we're gonna leave it like that because remember, we're going to set some grass on top of that, so we are not going to be seeing that too much. But right now you can see we have a pretty good displaced shader under our surface. So now we can go back here on this material view, and we can go now to the Grasswall Pro and set a new system. Now we have a new system, then we create, and remember, you have to select the in this case the plane. So you select the plane and then you create a new system under this plane and then create a new setting, and that will set your grass. So if we go to our camera and set the shading view, okay, what's going on? Sometimes that happens, but don't worry, it's because it hasn't loaded the shaders. There we go. Now this grass is very ugly, so we can change this. Let's say this one looks a lot better. This one looks pretty good, but you are going to notice something pretty soon. Let's now import, we can change now, and let's import our tree. So go import, file import, and then GLTF, because it's a GLTF format. We go to our cherry blossom trees folder and the scene one, and you are going to be bringing the trees, or importing the trees, I'm sorry. Now you'll notice this is way too big, so now we can drop the scale down by pressing S and moving the mouse in this case. So now we scale this down. We can delete these two other trees. We just need one, and this one, let's set it a little bit smaller, and by pressing G, if I set it like on top of that little mountain and we go to our camera view, we can see it's a little bit big. It is still too big, so let's drop this down. That looks way better. Let's move the tree on the x-axis so it looks better. Alright, that looks good. And if we go to our shading view, we can see now we have our tree on top of this little mountain with our beautiful grass and our beautiful shader. Alright, you can see the shadow because it has the lighting from the default light that I didn't delete on the beginning, you remember? So that's so you can have an idea, or you know, like if you place a sun or a moon, you know, it's on you. Remember that you are the ones that are creating your own environments, but it's all about creativity. So now if we import some more objects like rocks and things like that, so if we go to bridge and we go to set, let's say, rocks, then you can go to rocks. I have some rocks that I have downloaded also. You can you can download the rocks that you want. Let me see my 3D assets. Here it is. I'm going to get this rock that I already downloaded and export it. It's pretty easy, guys. Look, it's already on my scene. I just have to, you know, scale it down. I can move it, you know, whatever I want. Let's set it like there on the scene. And now we can turn our light off on this panel. If you uncheck that, that will turn it off on the viewport, and if you press this camera, it will turn it off on the renders. So now we are going to add the dynamic sky. So if we press N and we go to the create tab under dynamic sky, create. Okay, now let's go to our shading view, and as you can see, nothing has happened. And that's why that's because, sorry, you'll have to go to the world tab here, and on this drop down you'll go to dynamic, and now you have the dynamic sky. All right, And wow, this is looking pretty good. Let's see a test render to verify how this looks. So okay, now we're seeing problems. As you can see on the render, we are having far less grass that on the viewport. But look at the shader. The shader looks good. So how can we fix this? I'm gonna close the render, and we're going to go to the Grass World Pro tab. We're going to select our plane, so we have our settings, and here we can set the density way higher. Let's set it to like 47. And if you set it to the shading view, here you'll see it that it looks, you know, very green and very crowded. But if we render, now we have more grass. So let's say that you wanted to add more grass, or you know, another type of grass in here, like flowers or something, then you can do that by adding a new system under the same plane, creating a new setting, and then you can select, let's say, this yellow flowers. Sorry. And now you'll have yellow flowers on top of those green, on top of that grass. So we can, you know, change our random here. That way our flowers are a little bit more random, and now it's looking pretty good. So let's say that we want to add, you know, a sun and some fog on the scene, and maybe change the sky color. Well, we can do all of that. Let's go back to our scene in here, and if we go and press Shift A to create a new icosphere, and we set the subdivisions to like 5, so it's like perfectly rounded, and we still need to shade it smooth so it looks more smoother, whatever. And we are going to scale it a little bit bigger and move it pretty back. That is, you know, a little bit under the tree. And now we are going to add a new emission shader. So we are going to go to the shading view, and let's set this so we can have more memory. Let's create, having the sphere selected, let's create a new shader. And here you can go to, you can set an emission shader, but here you can also do it. So if you change the emission color, let's say to a yellow or an orange type of color, and change the emission strength to something like 100. Now if we go, let's before we set the shading view, I know the dynamic sky is going to be a, you know, very bright, so let's set that a little bit lower, the strength. So let's say like a 0.7. Looks good. So now we can go to our layout, to our camera view, and let's verify. Okay, that is looking pretty good. Let's see if we change the sky, because it kind of, you know, it doesn't match too much. So if we go to create, where is our dynamic sky, and change the horizon color to maybe more yellow-ish, and the sun control, we set it to black, so we don't have like alternate lighting. We only have the emission lighting and the atmosphere lighting are seeing. So now it's looking way better. So let's create some fog by pressing Shift A, mesh, creating a cube, and this cube we are going to set it a little bit bigger so it match our scenes. So if we press S and Z, so we can scale it down on the Z axis, and we can put it a little bit higher and scale it on the Y so it you know covers almost all of our zine. And let's move it a little bit back. Let's increase the size on the Z axis. Now it's, you know, there on the sun. And if we go to our shading view and create a new material for the cube, now we are going to select the principled BSDF. We're going to delete that, and we are going to press Shift A and create a new principled volume shader. So we connect this to the volume, not to the surface. Remember, this is a volume, so we connect it to the volume. We reduce the density to like 0.05, and we check now our scene where it's not loading the shaders. Let's go to our layout. I think
2,000 years later.
Oh, there we go. There we go. I don't know. Sometimes it does that, but you know, it fixes really quick. You know, it never happened that takes so long like that. But we are back, guys. So now we have our scene. We have our fog. We have everything set up. So if we try to render this image, we are going to be having something like that. Alright guys, now that you have your render ready, you can go to your favorite coloring software. I use After Effects because I like it, and I play with the colors a little bit, as you can see. Then I added some more layers of colors, and right now you can see my final render. So hope you guys like it, and if you would like to see more, you can leave a comment. Remember to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching, guys. See you on another time.